Investigators saying in court today that Patrick Frazee tried on at least 4 different occasions to have someone else kill Kelsey Berreth before he finally did it himself.
And a judge ruling at today's preliminary hearing that there is enough evidence for this case to go to trial. It was in that courtroom where we learned that Frazee suggested to Crystal Kenny, who has pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence, that she took Berreth coffee that was poisoned with Ambien and other drugs. Kenny says she did drive to Berreth's home but did not go through with the plan.
Now, a month later, Frazee suggested to Kenny that she should attack Berreth with a rod and later a baseball bat. Then in November, the month that Berreth went missing, Frazee called Kenny, said that he had 2 more opportunities for her to kill Berreth.
It was then on November 22nd, Frazee called Kenny and said, "You need to get out here now. You've got a mess to clean up," according to testimony. Kenny then drove 13 hours to Kelsey's home, where she told investigators the scene was, quote, horrific, and blood was everywhere. And prosecutors also just revealed in a press conference the baby was home when the murder was committed.
Now, Kenny cleaned up that mess, but says she purposely left blood splatter in certain areas for the police to find. Now, when she was done, Frazee told Kenny, quote, "You don't know how hard it was to have to go to Thanksgiving dinner after killing her," telling her that he did it with that baseball bat. And prosecutors also filed additional charges against Frazee today: desecration of a corpse and a crime of violence.
And we've been looking at him for a second. News 5's Sam Kramer in the courtroom today. We got more information from the lead prosecutor and district attorney in that press conference that just wrapped up. And Sam, just horrific, gruesome details today.
Yeah, well, guys, we had the assumption that this was a gruesome crime with the presumed murder and solicitation to commit murder. We had no idea that it was as graphic as the investigators and really their witnesses detailed today. Now, their witnesses were key. They were the Woodland Park Police Commander Chris Adams, as well as a CBI Special Agent Greg Slater, who were heavily involved in the investigation of this case. Now, again, they've kept their evidence under shield just about the entire way. It's the first time we learned of how they actually pieced this crime together, because when they went to Berreth's townhome, they really didn't see any signs of a struggle, any evident signs that a murder had taken place. It wasn't until they looked at cell phone data, as we reported earlier in this case. Cell phone data was the key to cracking this case, to determining that Patrick Frazee committed this murder allegedly, and that Crystal Kenny helped him clean it up, helped him dispose of evidence. There's just an information overload in more than basically an 8-hour hearing today for the preliminary hearing. But here's what prosecutors had to say about how that crime was committed.
Crystal then tells us that on November 22nd, Thanksgiving, Patrick kills Kelsey in a horrific manner with a bat in the back of the head as Kelsey is sniffing candles with a blindfold over her eyes.
Now, again, today was only a preliminary hearing. The prosecutors just had to present enough evidence that they have probable cause to charge Patrick Frazee with this crime and then pursue a trial. An arraignment date has been set for April 8th. That is when Frazee should enter a plea. We'll decide where the case is going on from there. Of course, stick with KOAA News 5. We'll have updates throughout the case, and still tonight with obviously just so much information to unpack here. For now, always watching out for you, Teller County. Sam Kramer, News 5.
And Sam live tweeted the entire preliminary hearing today. All of that is on his Twitter. We also have a live blog from that on KOAA.com. Sam, great work out there tonight. So what comes next? Frazee will have an arraignment hearing April 8th, where he will have to answer to these 8 charges that have been filed against him. Kenny will be sentenced after Frazee's trial ends as part of her plea. She faces anywhere from probation to 18 months in prison. Right now, Berreth and Frazee's daughter remains in the custody of Berreth's parents. Another custody hearing is scheduled for April 4th. We have a full recap of today's preliminary hearing, as I said, posted for you online right now, KOAA.com. We will continue to follow this developing case for you and bring you updates as we learn more.